This week we've had some interesting developments. Today it was just announced Sevagoth is going to get a prime. But before that, let me do a bit of housekeeping. All right. Trying to do these streams very regularly. So if you could, hit the like, share the program, hit the notification bell, and hit all so you do not miss any of the goings on in the entire Omniverse, as this is primarily a gameplay channel. It is also serving as the nexus point to everything else that I do across the interwebs. My name is Omni Etc., by the way, and well, I go by Omni Etc. Also, for all my Space Ninjas out there on this particular program, since we're doing Space Ninja content, if you're looking for home decor, check out the Cosmic Conflict collection. Got a lot of pieces for your spaces, home office, or if you're like me with a home office, check it out at itsomnietc.com/Cosmic Conflict Collective. Link should be in the description, and when the stream is done, I'm gonna put it in the chat as well. Just something from me to you. A lot of these pieces are based on Warframe and the concepts of Warframe, and just Space Ninja stuff in general. So again, it's omnietc.com/Cosmic Conflict Collection. Get your home decor today. These are metal prints, by the way, metal prints. So, they last the test of time. They're rather resilient, and they're very shiny. They gloss. They're very glossy. They're very shiny, and they look great. As for how glossy, about as glossy as these right here. You can see how shiny that is in game, how reflective that is in game. They're essentially like that. I'm gonna have to holler at D to let me make some prints, some digital prints in game. I want to holler at D eventually about making some pieces, some digital pieces for him. But that's my bit of housekeeping. We got a lot to talk about. So, with the recent updates today, it was just announced Sevagoth, right? Sevagoth is getting his own prime. Sevagoth, the Hellsman, the canonical not Flying Dutchman. Who's the captain of the Flying Dutchman? Davy Jones, the canonical Davy Jones of the Void in Warframe, is essentially getting his own of theirs the Flying Dutchman skin. You can see it. Let me angle it. That's the Flying Dutchman. But Sevagoth is the Davy Jones of the Void here in Warframe, and he's getting his own prime variant, which is great because this is great for me because I haven't taken any time whatsoever, because I had a feeling they were going to do this. He's too ingrained in the story. So as you can see, I haven't spent any time leveling up Sevagoth at all, ranking him up. So I could just go ahead and make him helmet fodder. I don't know about you, but I find it somewhat annoying as of late that a lot of the frames, a lot of the more recent frames have been getting a prime variant, and by the time you've already ranked up and probably formed once or twice the original version, well, here comes the prime version. So I haven't taken any time to actually rank up Sevagoth, because a lot of people have been demanding that he has a prime variant. This prime variant looks cool, and now that I have it paired next to Protea here, it really looks like Protea's a space pirate. He's a space pirate. He's essentially, as I said, the canonical Davy Jones of the Void. So I'm definitely going to get him. I'm going to grind for him because I grind for majority of the frames that I have. I don't think I'll pay for it and ruin the experience. I like earning them. I like earning the primes for the most part. Whether that is me actually grinding away to get the relics themselves, or, you know, bartering and trading up to the point where I can just pay for the parts. I like it. It adds a bit more feeling, and I find I use the frames more when I grind for them. You know what I'm saying? I have a better relationship with them when I grind for them. So, this is what we got going on in the world of Warframe. Also, there's been this thing, right? We got to talk about it, and I haven't talked about it on past streams, partly because I didn't know. But there's this thing going on with the Lotus, right? Also on the 21st, when Sevagoth Prime comes out and drops, we also have the Lotus Eater quest, or mini missions, or however you want to refer to it. All right, so let's talk about the Lotus, right? Let's talk about Space Mom and what everybody's saying about, everybody's joking about. Okay, they're talking about Space Moms, but the reason why is because, you know, we got to be immature on the internet. So everybody's talking about, oh, Lotus Eaters. I'm a Lotus Eater. I'm a Lotus Eater. I'm gonna eat out the Lotus. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. But what I really think it comes down to is, we all know the Orokin, right? And the Lotus's history with the Orokin. And the Orokin are based off of their design, the way that their characters behave. They're based off of the Greeks, right? And then there's this thing in Greek mythology called, actually, the Lotus Eater. It really took a quick Google search, right? It's a part of the Odyssey, Odysseus. If anybody's familiar with the stories. I certainly was not familiar with this particular story when it came to the Odyssey. But the Lotus Eaters, matter of fact, let me go ahead and pull it up while I'm here. Gotta remember my keys. So, Lotus Eaters. In Greek mythology, the Lotus Eaters were a race of people living on an island dominated by the lotus tree, a plant whose botanical identity is uncertain. So it's a mythological tree. It's not the lotus flower like we know it today, or the one that is, you know what I'm saying, symbolized by this lotus, the person. But follow me here, right? The lotus fruits and flowers were the primary food of the island and were a narcotic, causing inhabitants to, and this is very important, sleep in peaceful apathy. This is where we get into the dream, the second dream, and all of this, right? When it comes to the whole of the main part of the Warframe storyline, the main notes of the Warframe storyline. So they eat the fruit, they eat of the tree, the flowers, the fruit of the flower, the fruit of the tree. It's a narcotic, and it causes the inhabitants to sleep peacefully, in peaceful apathy, right? After they ate the lotus, very important, they would forget their home and loved ones and long only to stay with their fellow Lotus Eaters. Those who ate of the plant never cared to report or return from whence they came. Figuratively, Lotus Eaters denotes people who spend their time indulging in pleasure and luxury rather than dealing with practical concerns. So there's a lot to unpack, especially when it comes to the lotus tree, this lotus, the lotus of what the lotus means to the Tenno. And I believe they're positioning this lotus, whether it be Lotus Margulis, as she was known with the Orican Lotus, as she's known to the Tenno Space Mom, or Nata, right? The sentient variant of the lotus, right? They're positioning her, I believe, this is my theory, they're positioning her as the lotus tree and the Tenno as the Lotus Eaters, because I find something very interesting. The Tenno, walk with me here, right? The Tenno. Now, we do have the Drifter, since the Devuri paradox and all of that. We do have the Drifter and all of this, the adult variant of the Tenno. But let's talk about the child variant of the Tenno. Right? Let's talk about the children. The child variant of the Tenno. To the sentient, they're known as demons, as well as to some of the Oricon, they're known as demons. To many, they're known as, angels or saviors of the universe. But this is what I find interesting. The Tenno, right, the children were infused with their void powers from the Zeramin 10-0 mishap. This, actually, let me get on the rail jack because it's actually better viewed on the rail jack.
Mother bless our captain and keep them safe from all corruption beyond the firmament.
This,
Mother bless our crew.
This is the Zeramin. This is the Zeramin 10-0.
Mother bless.
I don't know what they're talking about. This is the Zeramin 10-0. Right now, it sits between worlds. It sits in between. It's sitting in between conventional space and the void. That's why you see all the void energy oozing out. Creating a pocket dimension we know as the Devuri paradox, right? Where the King Thrax rule. So what I find interesting in all of this is in the Lotus Eater's quest, how they're, and the Zeramin 10-0 accident, right? The accident that caused this ship, this starship, to sit between two realities and create its own pocket dimension. What I find interesting is, in everything that went on, because they were kids at the time when it happened, the Tenno were. What happened with the parents? Well, the parents got wiped out and decimated. But where do the Tenno, right? The children of the Zeramin 10-0. Where do they originally come from? Where are their parents? Where are their origins? Because we know the origins of the Warframe technosite virus and all of this. But where are these kids coming from? Where did they come from? And I think that this is where I think that little gap in the story, right, is what is going to get answered. That plot hole of where the Tenno come from is finally going to get answered in one shape or another. In one form or another, that plot hole is finally going to get answered after 10 years. Where the Tenno come from? Why were they on the Zeramin 10-0? Of course, they say it was to go to Tau and whatnot. But what is Tau even? What exactly happened to cause the Zeramin 10-0 to sit in this pocket dimension, to create its own pocket dimension and sit between two realities, essentially? It's just interesting. And they're doing it as the lead up into December's release of Warframe 1999, which connects the original DE game. They've been trying to do this for years, which is why I find all of this so interesting. The original DE game, the original Dark Sector game, right? Hold on, let me go to him, because he's the man at the center of all of this. The original Dark Sector game, where essentially the origins of Excalibur is. Alright. Tenno Hayden. This is the model for Excalibur. If you look at PlayStation 3's Dark Sector, Tenno Hayden. Again, Tenno Hayden, Tenno as in the children. It's all going to get connected at some point. It all comes to a head with Tenno Hayden being infected with the technosite virus. But now in 1999 Warframe, there's actually multiple versions of Tenno Hayden. You have Excalibur, you have who else was represented? Mag was there. All right, the human version of Mag, the half human, half technosite infected version of Mag. Nyx was represented, right? Volt was there. Volt's one of the OGs, so Volt had to be there. So on and so forth. I can't find, but hold on, let me. Right, Volt. And then there was even a character or two that we didn't actually know about.
Excellent compliments, operator.
One that's like a sniper, a super sniper. One, he's called Sight. So I just find it completely interesting. I find it completely interesting what they're doing, how they're trying to tie everything together. And how we're going to get some decade-old questions answered. And how they're trying to connect their original effort with what the essential universe that they've created via this MMO. The original single-player, story-driven effort with this expanded universe of a game to push the narrative forward, to give some sort of foundation to push everything forward in this game. It's brilliant, and how they do it is what I want to see. I'm very excited. I'm very curious to see what happens in December of 2024 behind Warframe. I think in 1999, Warframe 1999, we're gonna see how the Grineer came to be, how the Corpus came to power, where the Orokin came from, and how Alberic and Tradi, influenced it all. Parvos Granum, how he was a major player in everything that happened, and how the Technocyte virus got out of control and started just taking over, a good portion of the galaxy. And I think the reason why Sevagoth Prime is coming out on the same day as the Lotus Eater's quest line, I think is because Sevagoth plays a pivotal role, since he is essentially the Railjack helmsman of the original Railjack that all of our Railjacks are modeled after. So it's just going to be really interesting to see, man.
Let us sin, we're the guardians, baby, let the stakes rise.